Things are not happening to you. Things are happening for you. This is happening to me. This is awful. Why are things happening to me? Again, man, when it rains, it pours. This is happening to me, to me, to me. I'm never going to get out of this big hole. That is where you choose to stay. Your mind is going to continue to look for reasons to support that belief, and you are not going to get out of your hole. Reframe your thoughts to, this is happening for me. Rejection is redirections, because this thing that rejected me, it wasn't for me. I'm not going to sit here grabbing on to things that weren't for me. And when you do that, your hands are actually open to receive what is for you. Welcome back to Create Your Fate. I am Life Coach Meg Ellis, here to help you create your best life ever. First, beginning with your thoughts and your words. So words are so important on this show. I talk about words a lot. I am an NLP practitioner, which means a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, which essentially just means your mind plays a lot of tricks on you. I just help you trick it back. And one of the most powerful ways that you can do that is with words. That's why mantras and affirmations are so important. So I'm sure you've all heard these buzzwords about affirmations and mantras, and it's just saying things out loud. Really, that is a good place to start, is speaking positivity into your life, of course. But when it comes to these affirmations and these mantras, the kicker behind it is actually believing what you're saying. So sometimes it takes more than saying something one time to actually fully believe it. And how you actually believe it more is if you actually spend some time thinking about the words that you're saying and feeling them, right? Allowing those feelings to emit as you say these powerful phrases. So I'm going to share the number one mantra that has completely changed my life. My life turned around once I learned this mantra. And when you practice saying it, if it speaks to you, or even if it doesn't at first, just practice it and try to say it with a little bit of emotion and feel what it would feel like to actually believe it. So, number one mantra that changed my life, and write this down, grab a pencil, grab a Post-it note, put this on your mirror, because you know I love a good mirror affirmation. But are you ready for the mantra? It is this: everything works out for my highest good. Everything works out for my highest good. And before you turn this off, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to put rose-colored glasses. I'm not here to tell you that crappy things are never going to happen to you, right? I'm not going to tell you that your life is just going to be rainbows and sunshine all the time just by living out this mantra and believing it. What I'm going to tell you is how important this mantra is for manifesting, right? I know manifesting, if you've been around this show, you've heard me talk about it a lot. All these things, you want to talk about things working out for you, right? And all these, you want to talk positive things and all about all the things that you want. So if I'm acknowledging all these crappy things, right, and if I'm saying, hey, yeah, crappy things might happen to you, your life is not going to be all positive and rainbows all the time, that seems to kind of contradict the whole manifesting thing, right? But a big piece of manifesting that a lot of people miss is trust, and then the surrendering that comes with manifesting. Manifesting is co-creating with the universe. The universe, the whole universe, your source, your God, your higher power, whatever source you subscribe to, your universe is literally co-creating your life with you. So when you take back and surrender, hey, I think the universe, thank God, might have a better idea of what is for me in life, how things are going to work out for me versus my own very limited scope, then I think I might be able to trust that. So surrendering and trust is a huge part of life working out for you. So my first piece that I want to share I guess I'm trying to convince you or to believe this mantra that everything works out for your highest good, is you got to know that the universe has your back. And I use the word universe on this podcast, but again, you can replace it with anything that you want. God, source, higher power, anything. But I like to use the word universe. You can use whatever is best for you. But I want you to change the way you think about things, right? Because that's what we do here on this podcast. I want you to reframe your thoughts. And I'm going to share a lot of these slogans or phrases or things that you may have heard before, and some of them might sound a little cheesy at first, and that's one thing I actually love about personal development is you see all these, I call them gym class posters, right? Remember when you were in gym class, you'd see all these inspirational posters on the wall with like the little kitten looking at the lion in the mirror, and it's like, it's all about how you see yourself, or you are powerful. And I kind of always used to make fun of those until I actually started realizing, oh, there's truth to these things. So when you start actually living them, you're like, oh, that's why this phrase is overused. That's why people say this phrase. But I'm sure you've heard this before, but the universe has your back because things are working out for you. Things are not happening to you. Things are happening for you. And you do have to believe that. Whatever you have to do to learn to believe that, to trust to believe that, please, please, please start there. Because when you reframe your thought and you look for ways to believe that, you're going to find them, because again, you always find what you look for. So you could easily find a way that you could not believe that phrase. Nope, this is happening to me. This is awful. I'm never going to get out of this mess. Why are things happening to me? Again, man, when it rains, it pours. This is happening to me, to me, to me. I'm never going to get out of this big hole. And if that is where you choose to stay, right, your mind is going to continue to look for reasons to support that belief. And you are not going to get out of your hole. Or if you do, it's going to take you a really long time. So change and reframe your thoughts to, this is happening for me. And yes, it is a lot easier said than done. And I'll share a personal example. Y'all know I am a SoulCycle instructor, and I've been teaching fitness for about 10 years. And I've been with the brand for about 5 years. And I have had some waves of loving the brand and really struggling to find my love for teaching fitness. And it's the same lesson that I've had with other companies, right? Insert different company, because the lesson is always about yourself, right? It's the same cycle, right? If you catch yourself stuck in that same cycle with this company, oh, and now it's with this company, and now it's with this company, it's probably because it's not about the other company, it's about you, because your lifelong lessons are always about you. So how about that? Interesting theory there. But here I am in my current situation, and I'd been working for this brand for about 2 years, and I had gotten passed up in a promotion. It was something that I worked really hard for. I thought I was getting, all signs were pointing to me getting it, and I have my review, and womp, 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 I'm not getting promoted. And I was really, really upset about that, right? And I don't know if you've ever been in that situation where you really think something is going to happen and you're hopeful and it feels good. You're like, yes, this is mine. Like, I'm so excited. I'm going to get promoted. And I didn't get it. And all of a sudden, everything just starts crumbling down. And for a long time, I will tell you, I stayed in that mentality of this is happening to me. And what happened was, is I fell completely out of love with teaching fitness in general, and especially with the brand at the time. And that's not on the brand. I understand, business decisions and X, Y, and Z, but I allowed, right? Because this is about my life. This is about my journey. This is about my lessons. I allowed myself to fall out of love with something that once brought me a lot of passions. And it's because I had this mentality of this is happening to me. And I dug myself into that little hole for a while. I did. I'm not going to lie. And I was bitter and I was sour and passive aggressive. That was a big thing for me for a couple of months. And, it's just this kind of pity party and this misery circle. And you're telling everybody like, this happened. You're trying to get people on your team, right, to help you feel. Somehow we think if we get more people to help make it feel worse, it actually helps us feel better, which is completely backwards. And that can really dig you further into that hole of misery, because misery loves company, and that power of numbers can really harm you and keep you in your hole more. This is happening to me. And at some point in time, I had to let that go and say, okay, the universe has my back. Everything works out for my highest good, and sometimes it is really hard to see, right? with that little reframe that I did, it allowed me to open up my mind to bigger opportunities. This is happening for me. And you know what that frame of mind allowed me to do? Build my business, focus on my business. And because I chose to not stay in that hole of negative energy, oh, this is happening to me, pity party, misery, it allowed me to say, no, this is happening for me. And I opened myself up to solutions and positive energy and ways things are going to work. What can I focus on? If this wasn't for me, what is? Here I am, open-handed. You're open versus closed off. Oh, this is happening to me. No, this is happening for me. What else is for me? Right? Let's explore down this path. And here's another little gym wall poster. Rejection is redirection. And yes, I know it sounds cheesy, but when you're in it, it will speak to you if you allow it to speak to you. Rejection is redirection. So as we shift directions, because this thing that rejected me, it wasn't for me, right? You have gifts, you have talents, you have blessings, you have whatever you want to call it waiting for you. Universe, God is waiting to deliver it to you, but you're only going to get the things that are for you, right? And these are things that maybe you can't quite see or understand in your very limited scope, which is why we surrender and trust and co-create with the universe, right? That knows everything and says, okay, I'm not going to sit here grabbing on to things that weren't for me. That soul cycle promotion was not for me. And had I continued to grasp on focusing on things that are out of my control and being angry, I would not have been able to actually open my hands up, and you release the outcome, right? Because everything works out for your highest good. You release the outcome, and when you do that, your hands are actually open to receive what is for you. And let's talk about you, right? Receive what is for you. Let's talk about you in that, the person who is receiving. And I want you to actually go back into your life and look at some bad or crappy situations that you've been in the past, right? Or things were not working out in your favor at the time. And I'm using air quotes if you're just listening to this. But I want you to look back on your life of the ebbs and the flows, these amazing things that have happened, and then these not so amazing things, and honestly, sometimes quite shitty things that happen to us. And I want you to think about the percentage of things that you have survived in your whole life. Because I'm going to guess, I'm going to take a wild stab and say, make a massive assumption here, that if you are listening to this podcast, you have survived 100% of the things that have happened to you. Yes. So why don't you identify as that person? Because here's the thing. You can identify as, oh, I'm someone who bad things happen to. Everything happens to me. I'm in this hole and I just can't get out. Or you can say, actually, I have survived 100% of the things that have happened to me in life. And I'm going to choose to identify with that person, because I always say this on this podcast too. You get the life that you identify with. So I want to identify as someone who things just work out for me. I am somebody who things work out for, right? Have they been the ebbs and the flows? For sure, right? And that's called life. But here you are listening to this show, and wherever you are, have things worked out for you up until this point? Always? Some less desirable, yes. But if this has always happened, why do you think that would not continue to happen? You have 100% odds here, right? 100% things have worked out for you. Always. So why would you not take that same percentage and put that into the future? It can be really hard to accept this and to truly believe it. And I'm going to share a deeper, more personal experience with you where I really did struggle to believe that everything was going to work out for my highest good. If you've listened to this podcast before, you know, you've probably heard this story, but when I was 23, I was in love. I was going to marry this person. And he unfortunately was killed in Afghanistan. And I it was very hard for me to believe that everything was working out for my highest good. I could not even begin to believe that. So if you are in a stage of grief, I want to encourage you to really process that, because that's actually not something that I did. I did not process that grief at all. I pretended like it didn't happen and I carried on about my life. So I will say, you have to process out your emotions. You have to figure that out. You have to heal. You have to begin the healing process. You have to get help. There are people out there who can help you, right? So if things are really, really bad for you, don't do this on your own, right? Everything does work out for your highest good, but you're not going to be able to see that if you crawl into a hole like I did and try and handle everything on your own. So process all the emotions out, feel all of those feelings, get help if that's something that would benefit you. But because I chose to go into my little hole, I didn't heal for a very long time. And what happened is I ended up getting married, and I took that trauma into my marriage, which obviously did not end well, as you could probably imagine. And in that time, I moved from Pennsylvania to Kansas to Texas, and here I am. And I was actually a dental hygienist for a very long time. And I was in this marriage and I wasn't really happy, and I was searching for all these things, searching for happiness outside of me. So if you are in that place right now, just go back one episode. It talks all about searching for happiness. So I was searching for all these things, happiness outside of me. I didn't find them because I didn't realize at the time the happiness was inside of me. But I started teaching fitness, right? And I really liked it. It gave me a lot of joy. And that's probably when I started to crawl out of my hole a little bit, and then obviously delve into this huge personal development journey. But that being said, because I did that, it got me into the situation that actually led me into coaching. And I absolutely love coaching. I love life coaching. I'm actually leading others to do it now too. And it's a huge passion, and I know that it is for me. I know that is something that the universe had for me. It was a gift, and I did not have my hands out to receive that for a very long time until I opened up and surrendered and trusted that all these things were not for me. And guess what? Sometimes it's really painful when you realize something is not for you, or was only for you for a short while. That is painful and it hurts, right? Traumatic death, that hurts. Divorce, that hurt too, right? All these ideas, I'm not telling you that this does not come without lessons and pain and emotions, but I will 100% tell you to please process all those out, understand yourself, and know that happiness is within you, and you will take that and discover it inside of you whenever you decide the time to do that. If I were to think back to my life, and they always say hindsight is 20/20, right? It's always easier to see things in, that perspective of looking back onto the past. And I can see that now, right? Do I wish I could have changed things? Yes. Do I wish maybe I was not involved with this person and so romantically involved and in love when they passed away? Yes, I wish that for a long time. I wish the whole thing wouldn't have happened. But we can't go back and we can't do that. And we can say, why is this happening to me? Why was I the one in the relationship with this person when they passed away, right? That's not fair. This is happening to me. And why did I have to experience all this pain? And then as you grow and you learn and you release things and you surrender and you trust, you start to say, hey, wow, I can easily see the tracks now of, going through divorce and then understanding my career path that I wanted to take is, hey, I love life coaching. It is for me. It is my purpose. This is my gift. My hands are open to receive this. And because of all these things that have happened to me in life, it actually makes me a great coach. It allows me to help so many people. It allowed me to understand and open up parts of myself that I maybe have never discovered. And if I had never discovered those parts, I wouldn't be able to help the people the way I can help them now. So things really do happen for you, and everything truly does work out for your highest good. I know it is hard to believe, right? Because a lot of times we get blinded by this thought, this last thought that we're going to reframe. It's not is this going to work out for me? It's not a question, because we know it will. And if you know that it will, can you shift and just reframe? It's not, is this going to work out for me? Will this work out for me? It's, how can I see this working out for me? And sometimes you're not going to be able to see it in that moment. And that's where that trust comes in. That's where the surrender comes in. But if I know that this will work out for me, how can I see this working out for me? And then your mind will actually start to look for ways to support what you believe. It's going to look for solutions, look for ways that it will work out for you. Every setback is simply a set up, right? You are being supported by the universe, supported by God, supported by Source, supported by your higher self. This is not a setback. So let's just take a step back and see, how can this work out for me? Because I ultimately know that I am somebody who things work out for, and I know that the universe has my back. And I truly, truly, truly believe within my bones that everything does work out for my highest good. That's all I got for you today. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, like this show, send it to a friend who might benefit from hearing this message as well. And I'll leave you with one thing, like I always do. It's this: expect good things always, and they will happen.